Hello and welcome to today's Moto News video on the Motocross Network. We got quite a bit of news from this past weekend, Southwick National and the MXGP of West Nusa Tenggara. We're going to start off with the United States side of things. First, we're going to look at the defending 450 champion Jett Lawrence and his nagging shoulder injury from Hangtown and the possibility of him sitting out upcoming races to recover from that. Then we're going to look at the Red Bull KTM rookie Julien Beaumer, his crash and injury update. After that, we have a timeline for Eli Tomac's return, finally coming from Jeremy Coker of Star Yamaha. And finally, we are going to look at Justin Barcia's announcement that he'll be sitting out a few races to recover from his knee injuries. For the MXGP World Championship, we only have one news story so far, and that is an update on Fantic Factory Racing's Brian Bogers after a qualifying crash in Indonesia. Now, before we get into the news, issue number 9 of my magazine, the Motocross Network magazine, is out. It's almost sold out already, but we do have digital copies as well if you're interested. In this issue, we have some new writers, one of them being Johnny Hopper. I know you guys all know him. We also have David Hogan. He's an Australian writer for FullNoise.com and Always Moto. We also brought back the Moto Bikini Girl centerfolds. We're trying to get back to the grassroots of Moto magazines, and we also added a crossword puzzle for the kids. I was selling a lot of these to kids that like the sport, so I wanted to include something for them as well. So we're already almost sold out on this one, but we do have past issues on there too. Issue number 8, issue number 7, and we even have some left from last year. Here's issue number 6. So if you guys are interested, head to the mxnetwork.com and order a copy. Last year's are on sale, and there are just a few left from this year. So if you want one, go snag one. Huge thanks to all of you guys who already bought one. All right, first story of the day. The defending 450 Pro Motocross champion Jett Lawrence, who is now tied with Chase Sexton for second in point standings. They're both only 3 points behind current points leader Hunter Lawrence. Jett is now considering an MRI scan and possibly sitting out a few races, depending on the results of said scan. So back at Hangtown, I'm sure you all remember, Jett had the big one and luckily walked away relatively unscathed. He had a leg abrasion from the footpeg, and what they believed at the time was a minor shoulder injury, but it's turning out to be more of a problem. In case you forgot, which I know you didn't, here's the crash. Let's add it in just for context.
And this is another one that's a backside, and this was the difference. As you can see, he doesn't get the rebound. The bike doesn't kick like he was thinking, and he comes up way short. I'm just surprised that he went for it that early in the race, considering that
even though he has won every race since that crash at Hangtown, he still doesn't look 100%. We all know what a comfortable Jett Lawrence looks like. We saw that in 2023, so he clearly isn't that. You can tell that the nagging shoulder injury is still bothering him even a month after the fact. And Jett spoke on this shoulder injury after Southwick in the press conference and is now talking about getting an MRI and possibly moving forward with a recovery process, which means he might miss out on a few races. Here's what Jett had to say regarding that shoulder injury in the Southwick press conference.
We've kind of been discussing really what it actually is, because at first we just thought it might be bruising or like something like that, or maybe pulled the muscle, but we're kind of, for how long and slow it's taken to heal, it's we might get an MRI or something, because the muscle could be torn or something like that. We're not really 100% on what it is, so we're going to use one of these breaks to go and get an MRI, or even after this one, just because we're not 100% sure what it is, because we thought this break might help it and get it back to 100%, but each time I'd go train and ride and use it, it'd just kind of go back to that same spot, then I would heal up and then drop a bit. So it's kind of been a bit annoying in this break, so I thought it would go a lot more, but no excuses. We still got an overall win, so definitely make it a lot easier for 100%.
Even though it sucks to see him potentially stepping away from racing for a few rounds, I think it's the most wise decision for him. Deal with that potential injury now rather than just limping through the rest of the season, potentially making it worse, thus putting him behind for Super Motocross playoffs and possibly even the 2025 season. If you hold off on recovering from an injury like that, you can probably do more damage to it and push back your recovery and training for the next season. So obviously, with him so close to being back in the points lead, it's going to be painful for him to sit out a few races to let that shoulder heal up. But if that's what he needs to do, I think that's the best decision for him at the moment. After a month of pain in his shoulder, do you think it's a wise decision to get it looked at and potentially sit out some races to heal? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right, next up, this is a rough one. Red Bull KTM Factory Racing rookie Julien Beaumer had a scary crash in Moto 2 of this weekend's Southwick National. He only walked away with a concussion and is otherwise fine. but it was still a gnarly crash. Red Bull KTM said after the race, Beaumer is expected to enter the AMA concussion protocol this week before it is determined whether or not he'll be fit to enter round 6 of the 2024 season next weekend in Redbud. Before we look at Beaumer's post-race interview, let's first take a look at his crash. I didn't catch his crash firsthand while I was there, but I did look over and see him laying there on the track, so I knew it was bad. I'll throw up a couple pictures that my photographer, Chris Gans, got of the aftermath. I'll put that on screen right now so you can see. Yeah, he's out cold on the track. It was pretty scary to see as he kind of just laid there unconscious for a few minutes while the Alpine Star medical crew attempted to attend him. That's why they had to red flag the race. I don't know if they showed that on television, but he was just laying in the middle of the track for probably 4-5 minutes. I don't know how long it was, but it was a while. Luckily, one person did get a blurry clip of his crash, and it's scarier than we thought. Here's that clip. So yeah, not only did he crash really hard, he got hit headfirst by not one, but 2 guys. So to see him walk away is just incredible. I'm so happy he's fine for the most part, just a concussion. Our sport is gnarly. I'm so happy this kid is all right. Let's now look at what he said after the race. Beaumer said in an interview with Moto Online, quote, "It was a tough first moto. I crashed in the first turn and then made a good comeback, but crashed late in the moto again and lost my goggles. In Moto 2, I had a bad start. Then, unfortunately, got tagged by another rider as I went down and was run over. I spent some time in the medical unit, but I'm happy to be healthy, so we will see the neurologist this week and see if we're able to race next weekend." Juju is so lucky to walk away from that crash how he did. I mean, it's never good to see somebody crash, but the fact that he walked away with that relatively unscathed is incredible. I'm glad he's all right, and hopefully his concussion protocol and neurologist visits go well this week. I think it's fair to say God was watching him at this moment. We're wishing Beaumer a speedy recovery and hope to see him lining up again soon. What are your guys' thoughts on this crash? Let me know your thoughts down below. All right, before we move on, this video is sponsored by Blood Lubricants. Blood is a premium off-road oil and lubricant company. They have everything from chain lube to engine oil and even blood bath, wash, and wax. I'll show you that right now. They got all this stuff on there. Now, don't just take my word for it. It is all high-quality stuff, and it's Chris Kiefer tested and approved, so you know it's good stuff. For a limited time, you can save 25% off site-wide using my code TMN25, so go give them some love. Head to bloodlubricants.com today if you need an oil change or any of the other products they have. All right, the next story is regarding Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha's Eli Tomac. I spoke about this in my most recent news video last week. Webb's recovery is going much quicker than Tomac's, despite being out for a shorter period of time than Tomac with a similar injury. Before this weekend, all we knew was that Webb was back on the bike and intended on returning to racing later this summer, but we haven't heard much regarding Eli. Well, Lewis Phillips of Vital MX spoke with Star Yamaha team manager Jeremy Coker after Southwick regarding Eli's return, and we finally have an answer. Originally, they were saying that Eli hopefully was going to return for Unadilla, but it sounds like it's being pushed back. Eli is not yet back on the bike, but intends on getting back on the bike soon. The game plan for Eli at the moment is to return for the Budds Creek National, and at the latest, Ironman, which is the last race of the year. But either way, he claimed Eli will be back before the end of Pro Motocross. Here's a quick clip of Coker speaking with Lewis Phillips of Vital MX on this topic after Southwick.
Yeah, Eli's close to being back on the bike. Coop's on the bike. We're hoping for Coop to be back at Unadilla and Eli probably at Budds Creek.
Do you think there's a chance that you push Eli to SMX, or is there urgency?
He'll be back for at least one outdoor for sure.
So yeah, not the news we wanted to hear. It seems his recovery is not going very well, considering how long it's taking him to even get cleared to ride is kind of worrying to me. Hopefully he does get back on the bike soon, and we do see him for the last few rounds of the year, or a couple rounds, depending on when he returns. But yeah, not the news we wanted. We were hoping to see him come back much sooner. What are your guys' thoughts on Tomac's lengthy recovery? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right, before we move on, this video is sponsored by Sweet Life CBD. Now, we're all moto people here, and what comes with our sport is never-ending aches and pains. CBD can be a great solution for this. Introducing Sweet Life CBD. Sweet Life grows all of their hemp here in the USA, and all of their products are THC-free, so you will not get popped on a drug test. All of their products are third-party tested for purity, so you know it's all high-quality stuff. They also used to sponsor Rocky Mountain KTM and Blake Baggett before that team closed its doors. They worked with them pretty tightly. So they are a company that works closely with our sport. So if you want to get rid of those aching pains in a more natural way, head to GetSweetLife.com and use my code TMN for 20% off site-wide. Links in the description. All right, final story on the American side of things. Troy Lee Designs Red Bull GasGas 450 rider Justin Barcia will be sidelined for the next 3 rounds, at least, of the 2024 AMA Pro Motocross Championship. This is a move to allow his multiple knee injuries time to recover properly. After continuing to experience trouble with his knees that have largely affected his outdoor campaign, Barcia has opted to sit out the next block of races, aiming to return for his home race at Unadilla in August. As you saw from my post-race interviews after High Point, he didn't look too good. He had both his knees wrapped up with bandages and ice packs, limping through the paddock, and he was again limping through the paddock this weekend, even though I didn't speak with him. But Barcia has been racing through ligament and tendon damage across both knees throughout the outdoor season, but he has finally opted to allow them time to recuperate properly with a month off together. Barcia spoke on his plans with Adam Cianciarulo before Moto 2 at Southwick whilst he was on the gate. And after the race, he gave a more descriptive game plan in an interview. But let's first look at his interview before Moto 2 with Adam Cianciarulo in case you missed it.
You know, brother, it's tough right now. Southwick's rough, but I wanted to come out here. I love this place. The fans have been great today. That's why I wanted to be here. I'm sad to say I think this might be my last national for a bit. I think after this race, I'm probably going to have to let these knees heal up. Luckily, as of right now, no surgery, so just need to do some exercising, get them strong. But I'm going to absolutely send it so hard for these fans this moto. Do my best like I did the first moto. It wasn't fun, but the finish is always good.
I honestly can't believe he did as good as he did at Southwick. It is indeed a really rough and demanding track, so for him to even get a top 10 is insane to me. Let's now look at what he had to say after the race. Barcia spoke about his injuries and plans moving forward with Moto Online after the race and said, quote, "Unfortunately, I've been dealing with some knee injuries since about the week before Salt Lake City, and I've been pushing through it. One knee has a torn, sprained MCL, and my other knee had bursitis." I actually don't know what that is. I'll have to look it up. But with a little bit of a tear in the meniscus. Not too bad. Nothing that requires surgery. Because of the swelling, 2 of my tendons finally let go at High Point, but the good thing is that technically they will just scar up and be fine. I haven't been riding during the week at all, just been trying to race on the weekends for my fans and the crew, but it's got to the point now that we have a really good bike, my riding is really good, and these knees are holding us back. We want to be better than 5th to 8th, so we're going to take some time off. I will still be able to train quite a bit, do physical therapy on the knees, and see what we can do to get better. All in all, they just need some time to heal up, so the goal right now, I would say, is to come back for Unadilla. I won't miss too many races if everything works out, which I believe it will, and then we'll come back swinging. I don't blame Barcia for wanting to sit out a few rounds. I mean, the way we saw him walking through the pits, I couldn't believe that was the same guy I saw on track. It's pretty insane that he was able to ride like that despite how bad his knees are. I'm sure that first turn crash didn't help him either. He had a pretty bad crash off the start. I don't know if he got run over or not. I didn't see the clip, but from where I was standing, I saw him crash. So I even saw him dab his leg, I think, too. But yeah, either way, that probably didn't help his case either. Anyway, I'm sad to see him sit out some races, but I'm also happy to see that he's going to take the time to properly let them heal up. We're wishing Bam Bam a speedy recovery and can't wait to see him back on the gate later this season. All right, final story of the day is an MXGP one. So at the MXGP of West Nusa Tenggara, Fantic Factory Racing rider Brian Bogers was off to a great start in qualifying, running around 3rd place for the first couple turns. Unfortunately, he cased the crap out of a huge triple, and when he did, his shoulder popped out of socket and forced him out of the race. If you guys didn't see this, here's that clip.
Our first real episode of the race. Over the Monster Energy triple, Bogers cases in 3rd, and behind, a few positions further back, Guadagnini. He went over the Monster Energy triple, Bogers cases in 3rd, and behind, a few positions further back, Guadagnini. He went.
So yeah, gnarly case on that jump, and as you can see, he immediately pulled off track. Luckily, he didn't crash, but still did some damage. After he pulled off the track, the on-track doctors put it back in place, but Bogers claimed it was still very painful and opted to sit out this race and next week's MXGP of Lombok as well. He is now heading home to the Netherlands to get it looked at. Unfortunately, we have yet to hear an update on Bogers or from him, but we did get a quote from the Fantic team manager, Vitaly Tonkov. Tonkov said in a post-race interview, quote, "As you might have seen, Brian had a good start in Saturday's qualifying race, but after a half a lap, he came up short on a jump and his shoulder popped out. They put it quickly back in, and it looked like the injury was probably not too bad, but to be sure, this morning we decided not to race today and also not next weekend. Brian will go home instead to check everything and be able to get the best treatment to prepare for the next races." Super unfortunate news for Bogers. This Dutch vet basically came from retirement to a Fantic Factory fill-in ride, and he has been really successful since hopping on this bike. He currently stands 11th in point standings after missing this weekend's race and a few rounds early this season. His best finish this season being 4th in Portugal, 5th in Latvia, and 5th in Majora. Pretty impressive considering how stacked the MXGP class is this year. The likes of Prado, Geyser, Hurlings, all those guys. So for him to be up there, that's pretty impressive. But yeah, sucks to see Brian out. We're wishing Bogers a speedy recovery. Hope it isn't too bad of an injury. Good luck to Bogers, and we can't wait to see you back lining up in MXGP. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. Let me know your thoughts regarding all these topics and news stories in the comments down below. How do you feel about Jett possibly sitting out due to that nagging shoulder injury? How about Beaumer's nasty crash? Let me know your thoughts on all that. Don't forget to go support our sponsor, Blood Lubricants. You can use my code TMN25 to save 25% off site-wide. Don't forget to check out our magazines as well. Issue number 9 is almost sold out, so if you want one, snag one quick. We got some past issues on there as well, like I mentioned. 8, issue number 7, we got all that on there too, so if you want a copy, grab one quick. They're all almost sold out, so... and finally, if you have any aches and pains and want to take a more natural route, try out Sweet Life CBD. All their stuff is tested for purity and 100% THC free. So go use our code TMN for 20% off site-wide there as well. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.